Hello and welcome to Hurdle the Lines preview show. I'm Sam, I'm the host. Unfortunately, Fletch is not with us today, so you're going to have to deal with my dulcet tones for this evening. Joining me for, I suppose, a preview of week 80, the final week of the regular season, is Carl. Carl, how are we doing?
Hello, mate. Happy New Year. Hope you've had a great New Year. Hope you've had a great Christmas as well. Hope family's all good. And yes, the two assistants here are running the show today because the host cannot be bothered because he's watching college football. Fair
Yeah,
enough
two.
to him, but I mean, you are running a business at the end of the day, so
Yeah,
but it is what it is. Hope we're all ready. We're at week 18. I can't
yeah.
believe it. We're at the final week of the regular season. It has flown by, and I'm still trying to get my head around what the hell has happened over the last 18 weeks. I got no idea because it's just this has been an
It,
absolute blur. It's been
yeah, I think especially if you look at how this season's panned out, I think if you said at the start of the year or the start of the season that the Patriots would be in the playoffs, that the Chiefs would be nowhere
out.
near the playoffs, and that you know the Lions wouldn't even be in the playoffs, I think people would be thinking that you're on some form of very, very, very strong, very good drugs. But no, unfortunately, this season has been a bit weird. But we like a weird season. It brings drama, it brings excitement, and I think it's been one of those seasons which has been really interesting, especially if you're new to the NFL or maybe you've only been in a couple of years. I think it's really sort of refreshing, and especially the fact that the Chiefs are not in it. Sorry, yeah, Tom, but it is nice to see that very much like we said with the Patriots about 5 years ago. It's nice for them to be gone for a bit.
Yeah.
Um,
Unfortunately, they went for the heart instead of the head.
yeah. But yeah, so we'll start off with a bit of news. I suppose really there's not much news going on. I think the most of it's sort of just, injury news and that. So I suppose the one bit of contract news that I had was obviously from the Rams is that Quentin Lake has been given a 3-year extension, um, 42 million, up to 42 million guaranteed. With it, was it 24.7 million? Sorry, 24.7 guaranteed for up to 42 million total.
It
So
was 25. It says on there 25.7. That's what I'm getting on
25.7.
Rappaport's
And it,
page here. So yeah.
yeah, and it was close to that. But yeah, big contract. I mean, he's to be honest, I think if you've watched any of the Rams this year, our defense has been relatively good, and it fell off a cliff once he went on IR. And has looked very shaky since. Results have kind of hindered to that as well. So yeah, I think it's a good signing. He's been great for us, and I think he's one of the leaders on the, especially in the secondary. So hopefully we should get him back for the playoffs, which will be great. Um, and then I suppose injury news: Chris Olave, for the Saints, has been ruled out of the final week. He has a blood clot on his lung. Obviously, a very serious situation. Does look like it's not. He doesn't have a history of it, which is I suppose potentially a good thing. But obviously they want to check it out, which probably means, well, it does mean that's his season done, and then gives him chance to rest and hopefully get it sorted in the off season. Um, the only other news I think you mentioned was Josh Allen hasn't practiced
He
so
hasn't,
far with a
he,
foot injury.
he hasn't practiced over the last 2 days with a foot injury. I'm not surprised by it because he injured his foot 2 weeks ago. He re-aggravated it again in the Eagles game last week. Um, You're playing the Jets for Christ's sake. If you can't beat the Jets with Mitchell Trubisky as your backup, then that is a serious issue right there. But no, I don't expect Josh Allen to play in Week 18. Because they know that the playoffs, they've got three straight road games to contend with, so they're going to need all their starters to be fit and healthy into the postseason. So it wouldn't surprise me. The Bucks an hour ago just released their final injury report. There are three players that have been deemed out. Quarterback Jamal Dean, offensive linebacker Anthony Nelson, and defensive tackle Kalia Kansi. No, Kansi is actually questionable, but Dean and Nelson are out. That's been confirmed. Quarterback Jordan Love has cleared NFL's concussion protocol, but coach Matt LaFleur has announced that Clayton Tune will start versus the Vikings.
Oh dear.
Their third stringer starting against Minnesota. So the Dolphins have added a quarterback as well by the name of Cam Miller. I think it was on a practice squad. Not quite sure who it was though. Can I get into more details on that? I can't. He's on a practice squad somewhere. So the Dolphins are signing him, but I don't expect him to play.
No, he's just
Um,
going to be a backup to Quinn Ewers, isn't he? So,
yeah, just a And
yeah,
obviously, Travion Diggs. He got cut by Dallas and has now signed with Green Bay. Has now signed with Green Bay. So a little bit of secondary depth there for the Packers on that one. He gets to rejoin
mhm,
with Micah Parsons.
mhm. It was Camilla was on the Raiders practice squad. That's what
Oh
they
right,
signed him
okay.
for.
That explains it all.
Um,
Yeah,
but I suppose
Rams.
really the big thing. I mean that big thing has been very interesting because by the sounds of, I mean, no matter what, he was going to be cut at the end of the season by the sounds of it. So this was just a preemptive thing. But I think from what I've seen, obviously you've covered it a bit more, but from what I've seen, I think the initial thing was he wanted to remain in Washington to spend time with his family. Um, he went to his obviously to their coach. They basically said, "No, you're going to fly back with the team, then you can fly back out." And then recent news has come out is that he was at a gig and was seen pictured with one of the rappers. So, and that was the reason why, was because he said he wanted to stay with family, but then was at a gig, and it's like, well, why were you at a gig when you were staying for family? So, I think that there's more to it. I think there's a lot more to it than just, you know, he wanted to stay in DC and they said no and he did it anyway, sort of thing. That doesn't really seem like a cuttable offence. Um, but again, last game of the season, Dallas have nothing to play for. Just get rid of him. If he wants to go and play for someone else, he can go play for someone else. But
Mm.
obviously, you've obviously followed it probably a lot closer than I have. I've just kind of got flashes from what Schefter and Rappaport have sort of shared.
So regarding of the, uh, it was going so well for New England as well. And the only way you could tell if the evil empire was truly back is if you had some sort of scandal on your hands. Well, we got two for the price of one in the space of 2 bloody days. Um, so Stephon Diggs, apparently the reports was that he was in an altercation with his personal chef, who was female apparently. Um, Strangulation, threatening behavior, and battery, I think it was. I think there was the other thing. But New England made a statement. The actual Patriots organization made a statement, said the New England Patriots are aware of reports regarding a pending February arrangement involving Christian. This is for Christian Barmore, sorry, not for. Where's the one for Diggs? Where's one of the Diggs? Here we go. The New England Patriots are aware of the accusations that have been made regarding Stephon Diggs. Stephon has informed the organization that he categorically denies the allegations. We support Stephon. We will continue to gather information and will cooperate fully with the appropriate authorities and the NFL as necessary. Out of respect for all parties involved and given that this is an ongoing legal matter, we will have no further comment at this time. That's what Scott reported. His arrangement date is literally 2 days before the AFC Championship, which is not great. However, a lot of people said, "Oh, that means he could miss the AFC Championship potential Super Bowl." Not necessarily. That's just basically an informative meeting about what could potentially happen. If it is going to a proper court date, it won't be till after the Super Bowl. So it goes with the same as Christian Barmore one, which ironically this incident happened in August and yet it only got reported on the 16th of December. Yeah, try and make sense of that. I spoke about this on the Patriots Touchback, which you'll find on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. and Friday nights on 9 p.m. as well. I described this to Nick as this just sounds like a bit of a shakedown of everything that has happened. It just seems like, and also as well, a lot of people banged on about, oh, just cut him, get rid of him, get rid of him. The only evidence I have seen so far are these police reports, which is in writing. Have I seen any video evidence of this happening? No. Have I seen any picture evidence, i.e., picture of bruises and injuries and so on? We haven't seen it. So it's a you look at it in on writing it, it's like, yeah, this actually looks terrible. But then you look on the other side, it goes, okay, well, give us some proper picture evidence of it. Give us some actual picture video evidence of this, because otherwise, all it is just hearsay. All it is just words. That could mean absolutely anything. And it's quite ironic that this came out literally after Diggs got an extra 500,000 bonus for, I think, for reception yard. Is it so much of a coincidence? It just sounds like a bit of a shakedown to me. But listen,
He'll get settled out of court. It always does.
it'll get settled out of court. What's the American term of phrase? Innocent until proven guilty. Well, he hasn't been charged. He hasn't been guilty of it.
Yeah.
So until that happens, it happens. Diggs is going to be playing in the playoffs. Barmore's going to be playing in the playoffs. And I think that's technically where they draw the line. Regarding of the Barmore incident, there is something I will throw in because they tweaked it a little bit from the statement they gave to Diggs. They put the Patriots are aware of reports regarding and pending February arrangement involving Christian Barmore, which stems from alleged domestic incident that occurred in August. The Patriots were made aware at the time of the incident and informed the NFL in a timely manner. The matter remains part of an ongoing legal process. We will respect that process, continue to monitor the situation closely as we have over the past few months and cooperate fully with the league. We will have no further comment at this time. Bearing this in mind, the Diggs one was saying that Diggs categorically denied doing anything. In this report, it looked like something has happened, but they're waiting for more evidence or the legal matter to come through about it.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like with this one, it sounds more like it's again, it's probably a little bit. There's probably a little bit maybe more truth in it because if it's to have happened in August and then it only came out now, it seems a bit more plausible because it's not like you keep it under wraps. But again, it's so difficult with all of these things because domestics are so difficult to prove. And like I say, there's been no images or anything. So it's a weird one. They will find out soon enough, but I imagine probably both of them will get settled out of court. It'll all be dealt with and we'll never hear anything of it again.
It will more than likely be. It will more than likely be. I just find it I just find it quite surreal and quite coincidental.
Yeah, it's always the case as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
It's the timing of it almost seems too ironic.
I mean, what makes it even more cringy is that Buffalo Bills fans are getting on the Patriots fan base case by saying, "Oh yeah, you need to cut him this that and the other." Duh, 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 duh. Little have they actually got a brain the size of a goldfish? Because correct me if I'm wrong, did you not have OJ Simpson on your franchise at one point? Talk about pot calling the kettle black here. So yeah, it's just mad.
Yeah,
It's absolutely madness right now. Um, Listen, we just got to see. We just got to see what happens. But look, if Diggs says that his category hasn't done anything, then we just have to accept. The thing also is that if Stephon Diggs now has got a huge chip on his shoulder, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes off now against Miami. It
yeah.
wouldn't surprise me if he goes off now because, yeah, he's going to be a menace now. On the field, that is. Not with personal chef, not with personal chef. On the field. I just want to make that categorically clear, all right?
Yeah. And then I suppose the final bit of news, which I suppose kind of feeds into our first segment, is the All Pro list got released. I'm not sure the date of when it actually got released. 10th of December, I've got, so quite a while ago. But I just thought, because obviously we've not been on to talk about it, really. So I just thought it's worth sort of going over. I'm sure it's been mentioned by um, the other the other side, or the review show. Um, but I just thought it'd be worth us looking over it. So in terms of the first team, we'll just go through the actual players. I suppose the ones I've got here. I don't know where have I got. I did have it a minute ago, but it does seem to have disappeared. Um, there we go.
Really?
All protein picks. Here we go. That's what I was looking for.
All pro picks.
So
I've got it's on ESPN, so I've got the site up already. So
just making sure I did have 2025 team picks. There we go.
hmm
So that isn't the right one. Players all pro.
so I've got the players on the list here.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So obviously they obviously start off with the main position at quarterback. Drake May was the one that got put in the first team All Pro. Um, May has responded pretty decently. The way he's been playing all season long, he's been in the MVP conversation with Matthew Stafford. Um, and I wasn't expecting that to happen. I thought Stafford would get All Pro because of the way he has been performing. Das Stafford has been given second team All Pro for the Rams. So that's on the quarterback side of things. Running back, first team All Pro, Bijan Robinson for the Atlanta Falcons. This guy, I mean, I did watch Monday Night Football, and I was just in absolute awe of him. He's
Mm,
just so patient with his running ability, and it's just so good at what he does. I thought Jonathan Taylor was a very close second, second team because he got second team All Pro,
mm.
fairly reasonable.
And
Uh,
Christian McCaffrey will feel
Hard
a
done by
little
there.
hard done by, but
But he was
I think
injured. He was
yeah,
injured.
I think with a lot of this season, there's a number of running backs that I think could have easily been in that conversation. So
Mm.
I'm never going to complain about Bijan Robinson being an All Pro because I absolutely love him. So,
So
but yeah,
the three wide receivers that got all pro was Jackson Smith and Jigba for Seattle, which I've got no complaints about. Puka Nakua for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, the guy's been absolutely phenomenal this season. Um, he generated 105.9 EPA and 19 EPA ahead of any other receiver in the league. So well done to him. Um, George Pickens as well got all pro. That means
yeah,
he's going to be garnering a lot of dough in free agency.
he
Um,
did deserve it as well. He has been really good
oh,
this
he's
year,
been awesome.
especially.
He's still an absolute powder cake, but but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Second team was Jamar Chase of Cincinnati, Nico Collins of Houston Texans, and Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. Tight end. That obviously went
only,
to probably the
only
best.
one guy.
Only
Yeah,
one guy, Trey McBride of the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, he broke the receiving, his 1,174 receiving yards, placed him more than 300 ahead of second place Kyle Pitts Sr. He was absolutely phenomenal, and he now break. I think didn't he break the record last week for most receptions by a tight end of the season?
uh, yes, I believe he
Yes,
did.
he did. So there we go, and he deserved that. Second team All Pro, rookie out of Indianapolis, Tyler Warren.
Yeah,
Tyler
I
Warren really has impressed me. Um,
think it's been he's been well, I suppose in terms of the overall, I think he's benefited because of the likes of Bowers and Kill being injured, and I think he has been the next one. I mean, you could maybe make an argument for Kyle Pitts, but I don't think he's been
He
as
hasn't. He's
consistent.
only kicked on since the back end of the season.
Yeah, so
I don't think.
I mean, Tyler Warren has he's quietened down towards the end of the season, but he's still been one of the main threats for Indianapolis. So I have no issue with that.
Yeah. So tackles. We got Trent Williams of San Francisco. I
Yeah,
mean, he's the best blindside blocker in the game. Sorry, I think no one else can deny that. Garrett Bowles of Denver Broncos.
yeah.
Second team was Laramie Tunsil of the Washington Commanders.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, is their quarterback injured? Isn't their quarterback injured? Just saying. And Dion Dawkins at Buffalo. I thought Dion Dawkins would be a first team All Pro. I think he's been phenomenal for Buffalo this year, if I'm honest with you. Offensive guard, Quentin Nelson of the Indianapolis Colts. Joe Tooney of the Chicago Bears. I mean, Tooney is just a phenomenal player. I'm still got PTSD. Why the hell Belichick traded him? I've got no idea. Please, answers on a postcard. Second team All Pro is Kevin Dotson of the LA Rams and Tyler Smith of the Dallas Cowboys. Center, a little bit of an interesting one here. Aaron Brewer of the Miami Dolphins. Probably the only thing that's decent on that offensive line of theirs.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, to be fair, their rushing game's been pretty good, and that's the only thing you can really say
no, so
about them.
you can hang the hat on. That is basically it. Yeah. The second team was Tyler Linderbaum of the Baltimore Ravens. I thought Linderbaum should have been first, but anyway. Edge rusher.
Most
Miles.
obvious
Well, the
picks.
obvious one's Miles Garrett, as we already know this. The next one, Will Anderson from Houston. This guy's phenomenal. This guy's absolutely phenomenal. Second team, Nick Bonito from Denver and Aiden Hutchinson of Detroit.
I probably would have had Nick Bonito in there, but again, Will Anderson's been part of one of the best defenders in the league. So I think you either had was the Will Anderson or the other guy on the other side. I can't think what he's called now.
Daniil Hunter.
Yeah, Dino Hunter.
Yeah.
Either one could have been in that. But
Yeah. Defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons of the Tennessee Titans. Probably the only thing that's anything decent on that Tennessee defense, let's be real.
yeah,
Um, Zach Allen of the Denver Broncos. Yep, deservedly so. Second team was Kobe Turner of the LA Rams and Leonard Williams of the Seattle Seahawks.
mhm.
Linebacker Jordan Brooks of the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, I agree. Jordan
Yeah,
Brooks is a
he's been
quality
brilliant
player.
this year.
He's a fantastic player. Ernest Jones, the fourth for Seattle. Um, Dumped by the Rams and traded away after 6 weeks by the Titans a year ago. He's been a perfect fit in Seattle under Mike McDonald. He's picked off 5 passes this season, tying him with Devin Lloyd. Um, Jones allowed a 53.7 passer rating and coverage this season, the third best mark in the league at any position. He also made 16 tackles, stopping players short of a third or fourth down conversion, tied for fourth in the NFL. Second team was Devin Lloyd of Jacksonville and Jack Campbell from Detroit.
Jack Campbell's been unbelievable this year. He
Oh,
was amazing.
he's really good.
Yeah,
He is the microcosm of Dan Cat of his coach. He just
yeah.
is. And that's not, I don't mean that by his surname either. That's just it. He's an embodiment of Dan Campbell. He's just a bastard. Big, ruthless bastard. Derek Stingley Jr. is the first on the corner. Good, rightly so. The toss up was between Patrick Surtain II of Denver and Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots. They have gone with Christian Gonzalez of the Patriots. The reason being behind it, Gonzo has posted 63.2 success rate in coverage this season. That's fifth best mark among regular starters. Targets his direction have generated 7.2 fewer catches than expected, which is third in the league. He has also posted a better missed tackle rate than Surtain, who didn't miss a single tackle in 2024 while taking 6 fewer penalties. And the other corner that was of course for
Kenyon
Philadelphia.
Mitchell.
Quenya Mitchell. Yeah, rightly deserved. Rightly deserved. Second team was Patrick Surtain, the second of Denver, Dante Jackson of the Los Angeles Chargers, and JC Horn of the Carolina Panthers as well. And then at safety, Derwin James for the LA Chargers, rightly so. He allowed a career best 59.6 passer rating in coverage. Kyle Hamilton for the Baltimore Ravens. Again, another phenomenal player. Second team was Jesse Bates III from Atlanta, Talanoa Hufanga from the Denver Broncos. I actually wanted Hufanga, by the way, for the page when he was a free agent. I would have loved to have him as a safety. He would be quality. Kicker, Will Rijkaard from the Minnesota Vikings. I'm very surprised Brandon Aubrey didn't get it, but Brandon Aubrey was second team
He
All
got the
Pro in that
second
one.
team, yeah.
Punter, Michael Dixon for Seattle. And second team was Austin McNamara of the New York Jets. Oh, fuck me. The Jets have got an all pro player. It's a punter. Oh, dear. Kickoff returner. This I have a big issue with. Chimera DK of Tennessee. Bearing this in mind, he had two kick and punt returns for a touchdown. Marcus Jones for the Patriots had three. I anyway, second team All Pro is Marcus Jones for the Patriots. So he gets second place, but really should be first. But what do I know? And yeah, those are your All Pro teams. Any issues? Any queries about that?
I mean, to me, I think most of them kind of speak for themselves. I mean, personally, I would say Kevin Dotson's probably been unlucky not to get in there, but I think it's, that's probably more so because I've watched him a lot more than the other two this year, and he's been one of the best in terms of allowing pressures and onto the quarterback. Again, the only other one that I may have swung for was maybe Jack Campbell over Ernest Jones. I think Ernest Jones gets it because he got the individual plays more individual plays rather than just overall sort of, I suppose, performances. He was, I suppose, he had the big flashy plays where he intercepted and things like that. So possibly why. All the others, I think they kind of, like I say, they kind of speak for themselves. There's no one. I don't think anyone's missed out that I'm like, he should be in there. The only one maybe being Christian McCaffrey. But
But I
again,
guess it's injury history. It's not. He's done really well to pick it all up, but
mm,
this running back, it's your scrimmage yards. So I would probably still have given it to Bijan. He's been quality.
mm,
Jonathan Taylor flamed out at the end. That was obviously due to the callback being out, and they just fell flat on their face. But yeah, I can't. Yeah, I've got no disagree. I've got no disagreements on that. As far as I'm concerned, it seems pretty legit. If that's a roster for any NFL team, holy smoke, that's a beautiful, beautiful
yeah.
team.
There's no team that could afford all of those players. But yeah,
I give it 10, 15 years and some Arab will come and buy us and goes, oh no, I'll buy all of these players. I don't care about the cap.
just give everything as bonuses. 20,
Bonuses,
20 billion
incentives,
in bonuses.
20 billion in bonuses. Now you watch Garrett go after 30 sacks or something. I don't know.
But no, that I think the All Pros, the All Pros not something that they tend to get wrong anyway. I think most of the time they tend to be on point with it. From what I remember in previous years, there's never been anyone who I think's been like, how dare they sort of miss not include them. So yeah, I think fairly straightforward, especially in terms of the players available this year. But yeah, so really, I suppose best thing we're going into week 18. Obviously, I think for most teams, it's pretty much sorted. I think I think is it for both sides, 6 out of the 70 spots for the playoffs have been decided. There's just one on both the AFC and the NFC that is to be decided, and that's the fourth seed. But apart from that, it's more just positional now. There's a few potential positional changes that could happen, but apart from that, it's fairly settled. So, I mean, just looking at we'll start with the AFC and then we'll move to the NFC. At the moment, currently, the standings have the AFC as the Broncos 13-3 and the number 1 seed, the Patriots 13-3, number 2 seed, the Jaguars 12-4 and 3rd seed, and currently it's the Steelers in the 4th, 9-7, And then you've got the Texans, Chargers, and Bills all on 11 and 5 in 5, 6, and 7. Um, like I say, all of those, apart from the Steelers, have been decided, who play the Ravens in week 18. I think the only other potential discrepancies or changes that could happen would be the Chargers, Texans, and Bills, which order that's going to be in. And then the Broncos and Patriots. Probably, if either of those two teams lose, they just swap around essentially. I don't think the Broncos or the Patriots can drop to 12 and 4 to the third position if
The
the Jags
Pats,
win.
the Pats can. If the Pats lose and the Jags win, the Patriots will drop to the 30 because the Jags have got the better strength of schedule,
Right. Okay. So that'd be the only way that that would
and they have the
happen.
better conference record as well.
Okay. Whereas the Broncos wouldn't because they have a better conference record. There's 7 and no, they is their conference. I don't know if they're conference. Oh yeah,
Well,
sorry.
no,
That. Oh
it's
no.
quite, it's no, it's simpler than that because the Jags beat the Broncos, so they had the tiebreaker.
Oh, so yeah. So
So
they
if
have
the
the tiebreaker.
Broncos lose and the Pats lose and the Jags win, the Jags actually take the number one
Yeah.
seed due to the tiebreaker over the Broncos,
Yeah.
and the Broncos will drop to the third seed, and New England
Second.
will stay as the second.
Yeah. So yeah, so there's actually quite a lot to play for on the AFC side then. In terms of who everyone's playing, I think this is where it's probably more interesting.
Mhm.
Is the Broncos obviously play the Chargers. The Chargers are going to want to win because they won that fifth seed.
Yeah, the
Um,
only issue is they are resting Justin Herbert.
oh, are they?
They are resting Justin Herbert and then playing Trey Lance a lot.
Okay, so that's pretty much the Broncos going to
I
win.
mean, saying that, last week, the Broncos only beat the Chiefs 2013 last week with a third stringer. So it's not
Mm,
out the realm of possibility the Chargers might be able to do something.
yeah,
But I don't think it's unlike, I think it's very unlikely to happen. So I would probably say Broncos will end up winning against the Chargers team that are resting their star quarterback because their offensive line is the equivalent of four fucking traffic cones. Notice I didn't mention one player. I think it's like the center. I think is their only best lineman or left
yeah.
guard. Everybody else is, where is it? I did have the PFF grades for all of these. Hang on, bear me a minute. Where is it? Where is it? I've got them all here, surely.
But I think, yeah, I mean, looking at it, like I say, Broncos versus the Chargers. If the Chargers are basically settling on playing Lance, they're probably looking at and just thinking, we'll take whoever we can get. Broncos will want that number one seed, so they'll probably go on and win that.
Yeah, so here we go. So this is the PFF grade for all the Chargers linemen. Bradley Bozeman, center. PFF grade, rank 36 of 36. Trey Trey Pipkins at the third. PFF grade 35 of 36, right tackle. Right guard, Mackay Becton, 36 of 37 by PFF. And then the last one, Austin Deculis, PFF rank 38 of 38. This is why I say they've got traffic cones in their offensive line. So I'm not surprised at all that they're going to rest Justin Herbert.
Yeah, and then you've got obviously the Patriots. They play the Dolphins. The Dolphins are shocking, quite frankly. I know they beat the Jets, but the Jets were even worse.
The
Um,
Jets,
as in the Dolphins play. Sorry, you played
Dolphins played the Bucks.
yeah, the Bucks. Sorry. Um, yeah, I'm looking at. I keep looking at different schedules. That's why. Um, you beat the Jets, but yeah, I mean the Dolphins. Quinn Ewers had an all right game, didn't he? He played well. I mean, again, Bucks are well, Bucks are the
I think
Bucks.
anyone can score on the Bucks.
Yeah.
Their defense
Um,
ain't all that.
so the thing is, you're playing the Dolphins. The Dolphins generally are quite crap, and the only thing again is you'll probably start the likes of May maybe for one, maybe 2 quarters, and then probably throw on your second stringers potentially.
It all
Um,
depends because it's just an example. In New England, we do that, and we boat race the Dolphins in the first half. if the Broncos game is also being boat raced and Denver's winning by like 2 or 3 scores, then Vrabel will probably call back the dogs and put the
Mm.
second and third stringers out there. But if New England watch the box score and it's like a 1 score game, they might keep the first team on just to like be on the safe side of everything.
Yeah,
But I don't see that being the case here.
yeah.
So
I mean, the Jags are playing the Titans. They can afford to rest their whole team, so they'll probably
I
still
mean,
win.
the Titans are playing very frisky right now. And the problem is, Jacksonville have to win that game because if they lose and the Texans beat the Colts, the Texans win the AFC South.
Yeah, because they'll have it on the tiebreaker,
They'll
won't
have it
they?
on the tiebreaker. So the Jags have to beat Tennessee. And
Yeah.
let's be real here Tennessee, I'd probably say over the last month, they have actually kicked on now all of a sudden.
Yeah, and I suppose, like we say, it's probably one of the big things is it's divisional rivals. They're going to want to ruin their day.
Oh, absolutely.
So, none of these games are going to be, they're going to be feisty affairs anyway.
Yeah,
But,
there will be.
um, but yeah, I think there's a lot still to play for. I think it's, like I say, the whoever's in it, apart from the Steelers and the Ravens, you're going to be in the playoffs. It's just a case of who are you going to play in, or who are you going to get the bye? Essentially, is where that goes. I would say again, the Bills can't catch the Patriots. I could see the Bills trying to. Well, they've got Mitch Trubisky. I think probably again, if they put up 2 or 3 touchdowns on them in the first quarter, they'll probably end up resting half the rest of the team. So,
Mm.
that one's kind of. I think they're resound to the fact they're going to be in the wild card. So it's just again positional more than anything. Um, but the big one obviously is the Steelers Ravens game, which is very interesting because obviously with Lamar Jackson back and I mean Ravens obviously are going to want to win that game, not only to take the NFC or the AFC division, but it's more the fact that if if you said to the Ravens from about what was it week 5 that you're a game away from getting in the playoffs, they'd have snapped your hand off. And the same would have been said to the Steelers. Like if you'd have said to the Steelers after their start, you're going to be in a dogfight for the playoffs. Um, that they wouldn't have believed you. So it's an interesting one, and I think it's going to be similar to the game that we had earlier in the year, which ended 27-22. It just depends on which way it's going to go this time.
I
The
this is
Steelers, the Steelers are without detail for this
how
game.
ironic is it? Okay, and we're gonna get into your game of the week in a bit, okay? But the other two divisions are two of the worst divisions in football. The AFC North is, I wouldn't know. The AFC North is not one of the worst of it. It is competitive, but it's competitive for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Because Cincy can beat you, the Cleveland Browns can beat you. How I don't know, but it is what it is. But the NFC South is, I'm sorry, the NFC South is just trash.
It is, and it's been trash for years.
It's been trash for years. The Saints have only just got going because now they might have found their franchise quarterback in Tyler Shuck, who's playing like a top 10 quarterback, by the way.
Mhm.
You've got the Atlanta Falcons who gave up, and now all of a sudden they now want to start playing properly. Well done
Yeah,
on the win over the Rams. That was your Super Bowl.
yeah.
Now go bottle it against the Saints on Sunday. I dare you.
Oh,
Okay.
they will, because the Saints like to beat them,
Yeah,
especially
and
if they can't win.
the Buccaneers, they were 5-1 to start the season. I thought, you know what, this seems looking very good. And since they've lost to the Patriots in week 10, they have absolutely capitulated.
Mm,
They've won one game out of their last 8. That is
yeah,
horrendous. And then you've got the Panthers who started, I think it was like 1-3. And it was like, yeah, they're probably going to have like maybe 3-4 wins tops on their schedule. And they pulled off it really respectably. Bryce Young has had good games, he's had bad games. The defense has kept them in it. But we know that whoever wins out of that game, or whoever wins the NFC South out of that game, They know they're going to get their spleens ripped out by one of the NFC West teams. It's going to happen. It's the
Yeah,
same thing that happened between Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Whoever wins is probably going to. I would probably say this as a hunch. They'll probably end up playing Houston. That's the
mm,
worst matchup to have.
yeah.
Houston's defense is scarily dangerous.
Mm. I think the thing as well is obviously the Steelers are without DK Metcalf for this game, and
That's massive.
is he out next week as well, or
No, he's
would he
only
be out
out for. It was only out for the final two
just the final
regular
two
season.
regular
So he was
season?
out for the Cleveland game. He'll be out for the
Yeah,
for
okay.
the Ravens game. Beg your pardon. But this is
Obviously,
a game
that
that.
is huge.
But this is a game that DK Metcalf really needs to be in.
Mm.
So
And I think probably one of the big things as well is obviously last week, Derrick Henry decided he was actually going to turn up and play football, or that at least Harbaugh was going to actually play Derrick Henry because he went off. And if he turns up again and does that,
oh, it's almost as if putting the ball in the best player in your franchise's hands. Actually, things do happen. Oh, what a shocking turn of events!
because
It's
was it?
Derrick Henry. He's called
Yeah,
King Henry the 22nd for an absolute reason. You know, just hand it. What did he do? Hand the ball to what? 36 times?
yeah, 36 attempts.
214 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
it just
textbook. This done in the 60s for Christ's sake.
yeah. I mean, look at the 49ers. They pretty much just do that with McCaffrey. Give your best player the ball and let him do his thing.
I mean, Brock Purdy has also been
Well, yeah,
pretty
he has
dangerous since he's come back.
he does have others, but he's still using McCaffrey as your kind of lead guy.
He gave me
Um,
56 points in fantasy for my championship match, so I'm not complaining.
but yeah, I think this game's going to go it's going to go close. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a field goal ending game for one side or the other. But
What between Seattle and
no,
Dan?
between the Steelers and the Ravens.
So the Ravens are favored by -3.5.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was if someone covered the spread there. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Well, I mean, the reason why they've done that is because they based it off the last game, which was a 4 point spread.
I think it was 5.
Sorry, five. Yeah,
Didn't the
sorry,
Steelers
five. Yeah,
did the
27,
Steelers win
27,
27-22?
yeah, 27. Sorry,
Yeah, they
five.
did. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's yeah. I mean, like I say, it's they've kind of gone based. And I mean, I'm not going to go back in history and look at all of their other games, but I imagine probably a lot of them were close.
yeah.
Uh, so moving over to the NFC, and again, very much sort of similar to what we said before. The NFC is pretty much sorted. It's just positional. I think the only game that isn't decided is the Panthers versus the Buccaneers. Um, whichever team wins there is basically going to get the fourth seed. There's a few more interesting things that go on in the NFC, I would say, in that more so the NFC West. Obviously, the Rams losing to the Falcons really did not help the Rams in one bit at all. They're going to finish second in their division now. They basically bottled the NFC West. But if the Seahawks beat the 49ers and the Rams win at home, well, win at the Cardinals, which is likely, but again, it's unpredictable now with the Rams. You lose to the fucking Falcons, you could lose to the Cardinals. If we beat the Cardinals and the Seahawks beat the 49ers, we get the fifth seed.
Yeah,
Which,
that is the case. That is
yeah,
the
because
case.
we would get it on because we've won more common games.
You have. But
Because obviously we,
But if the 49ers win, Seattle will drop to the fifth seed. You'll be the
yeah,
sixth seed. You will face
we'll go to
probably
Lincoln Field.
Philadelphia.
We'll go
That
to
is
Lincoln
a
Field again.
nasty first round. That is a
Yeah.
nasty first round.
Well, we did it last year, didn't we? And got
Yeah,
knocked out. So
yeah, I know.
yeah, I don't particularly want to go to Lincoln Field again. We've done it once. We did it last year. Don't want to. We've already lost to them this year as well, so I don't particularly want to face them again.
I mean, the
Um,
NFL could be absolute dicks and put that as like the 1 p.m. game on Sunday, and
and
the
you know they
Rams have got
will.
to go, and the Rams got to go from west to east.
Yeah. After the Puka comments about the officials and everything, it wouldn't surprise me if they screw us over.
Yeah.
They've been screwing us over ever since. So um, yeah, it's I can see. Yeah, I think that game's. I mean, the Bears have still got to play the Lions. Lions could cause an upset,
It could do.
um, which, but again, I think whoever finishes in that sixth spot, do you really want to be going to either Lincoln Field or Soldier Field at this time of year?
If I'm the pack, if I'm, hmm. I think the Rams won't be so. I don't think the Rams be as scared as the Packers would be because I think the Rams have got the defense to try and shut the bear, not shut them down, but like stem the bleeding. I just
Mm,
think right now the Bears, the only way they can actually generate anything on defense is by turnovers. And the
mm.
Rams are probably one of the most least penalized, one of the least turnover prone teams.
Yeah, I
So
mean, Stafford's obviously only had 8 interceptions this year, three of which came in last week's game.
two was a
But
pick six.
yeah, and these are the only other multi multi interception game that he had also resulted in a pick six as well.
Hmm,
So you know, if Stafford does throw interceptions, you're probably going to get points off of it.
that's true.
Um, but yeah, otherwise it's yeah, they don't turn over the ball that much. I mean, we have like any other team, we have our fumbles. And Puka Nacua has fumbled the ball. I think Kyron Williams has fumbled the ball a couple of times. So it happens, but yeah, I think I, personally being the Rams, I would rather play the Bears than play the Eagles. Um, Again, mainly because of the fact that Lincoln Field is just not only do you have to go to Lincoln Field when it's probably going to snow, their fans are all utter bellends. Um, and it's just one of those stadiums that we seem to really struggle at. So, yeah, if we can avoid that, that'd be great. Obviously, the only thing we need to do is win our game, but we'll know by the outcome because obviously, if we haven't already mentioned it, um, normally Fletch does a game of the week for each week. This one, I think, wrote itself. It's Seattle versus the 49ers, which is happening on Saturday night at 1 o'clock our time. Um, this is going to be an electric game. I think I mean, obviously, a lot of people talked about the last game against the Seahawks and the Rams being the game of the year. This could easily be up there as being another game that could potentially be a game of the year. Um, again, because of the ramifications of it, obviously we mentioned Seahawks win, they get the number one seed, and the 49, and if as long as the Rams then win, the 49ers drop to the sixth seed, which means that they will have to then go to either Lincoln Field or Soldier Field. Um, and the Rams would get a nice, easy match against the Panthers or the 49ers. No, sorry, the Buccaneers.
Mm.
So
Is that?
it's all to play for. And I think, the Seahawks have been one of the best defenses in the league. I think their offense is shaky. And that's the only thing I can think of that will that it's the, to me. I know obviously Sam Darnold has done well at the Seahawks, but and I don't know if it's just a Rams thing, but we just have his number. I think he's been in. I think we've intercepted him. Is it 5 times across 2 games?
Yeah.
And how he still lost a game of one of those, I have no idea, and nearly lost the other one. But the fact that he is so culpable to a potential, I suppose, blow up, or he's the worry for me. I don't think if he can get if the 49ers can get at him, the 49ers could easily win that game because I think their offense is unreal. When they're all fit and available. And obviously, we've seen last week with Brock Purdy putting up insane points. George Kittle's obviously back and playing well. Um, Even the likes of Juwan Jennings have really stepped up. Um, and Christian McCaffrey's Christian McCaffrey. So you know, I think that the thing with with the 49ers is they are so well drilled on offense. And we saw that even when Mac Jones was there. That offense is so well coached. It can beat any team. Their defense is probably a little weaker. Obviously, no Fred Warner, which is a massive miss in any game. Um, but the other players in that defense have stepped up. They have started to perform. A lot of the rookies have really stepped up. Um, but for me, this is going to be about which defense is better. And if the Seahawks can perform on defense and stop that offense, stop the Niners offense, they win this game. But if the 49ers offense just blows them out and puts up a lot of points, I can't see the Seahawks keeping up with it. But I think it's just going to be a very interesting game. And I'm unfortunately going to have to wear a Seahawks hat for this game. Better than not literally, but better than wearing a 49ers cap. I will never do that. Even if it means, us getting chucked out of the playoffs, I still will never root for the 49ers.
So, little known fact about me is before I was doing NFL content, I was part of a YouTube channel by the name of the Shank Club NFL, which was mostly a 49ers channel. But we sprinkled in me being a Patriots fan. We had a guy called Scott who was a Chiefs fan. We had a Browns fan, not Ollie. We had a Browns fan. We had Freddie Harper Davis, who is a
Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and we also had a Saints fan on and a couple of others at one point. Okay, so I do. I look at the 49ers as like my second team because I kind of covered them.
For all the second teams to have.
It's not my fault I got asked to do the YouTube content creator for an NFL team. Not my fault. So I got to understand. And it was during the time, right, where it was between Trey Lance and fricking
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo. That was a brilliant few years that was. I'm not gonna lie, but so that I look at the 49ers as my second team, so I am probably gonna cheer on the 49ers, but mostly as well. I love Christian McCaffrey. He won me my first
Yeah.
ever fantasy league trophy, so
I,
yeah.
I mean, he's in my Homer league. I've got him in my Homer league, and he's won me two titles.
Mm.
So I'll never. I've always liked Christian McCaffrey, but I don't like the 49ers whatsoever. And it's a real conundrum because he plays for them. I much preferred it when he was in Carolina. But yeah, it's mainly it's a selfish reason why I'm obviously choosing the Seahawks over the 49ers because we need them to win. Also, my best mate who got me into the NFL is a Seahawks fan, so I do have less of a disgust for the Seahawks than I do the 49ers. Um, but yeah, I think it's just going to be a fun game. And to be honest, for being for the Rams, I don't think to me it doesn't matter who we come up against because if the 49ers are at home, we can beat them at home. Warm weather probably suits us slightly better. Seahawks, we've beaten them at Lumen Field many times. So again, wouldn't be the worst thing having to play them there. So for me, in terms of that side, if we do have to come up against the number one seed, either or doesn't really bother me. But it's more it's more so that first wild card game. I can't I can't go through another Lincoln Field game. I can't do it. We've done it too many times. We've done it.
I tell you what then let's do a little bit let's do a bit of a let's do a little bit of a reverse Saru, shall we? So let's work out what the AFC playoff picture will be. So you work out the AFC, I'll work out the NFC. So it's polar opposites,
Mhm.
and there's no recency bias in this. So I'll let you start off first. AFC.
Okay,
Who gets home field?
I think the Broncos are gonna take the number one seed,
Hmm.
and I think it's situational more than anything. I think the Patriots take the second seed. The Jags will take the third seed, and I'm going to say the Ravens take the fourth seed.
Someone got a gun to your head because that sounded so fucking painful.
It's more the fact that it's so Steelersy to be 9-8. So
Steelers going 9-8 Super Bowl.
I just love it's just a standard Michael Tomlin season. And then I have the Texans. I'll probably say the Bills sixth, and then the Chargers seventh. So you'll have the Patriots at home to the Chargers.
Well, that's a win for us.
The Bills, or the Jags at home to the Bills. That'll be a feisty game. And then the Texans will beat the Ravens, in my opinion, the way I think that'll. So I'm going to say, going through it, I would probably then go Patriots win. I'm going to say Jags win. I'm going to say Jags win. And then I'm going to say Texans win. So
You
that
do
will then.
realize I have I have got really bad trigger fingers when it comes to X. I have got like 50 bookmarks of Buffalo Bills Mafia, just chirping on how we're gonna go one and done, in and in and in. Trust me, I would need to spend half a day on X just literally calling every one of these "See you next Tuesdays" out. I really would.
So
Anyway.
then that would have the Broncos play the Texans,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Patriots against the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say the Broncos win it in overtime.
I can see that happening.
And then I'm going to say, Patriots against the Jags. I'm going to say Patriots win. But I think then the Broncos win that final game at home. I think if the Broncos lose to the Texans, I think you would then go on to the Super Bowl.
I mean, that would be our most not easiest, but our more less bumpy road to the Super Bowl. Chargers, Jags, Texans. That would be that. But Denver at home, it's a house of horrors for us at
Mm.
Mile High. But Bo Nix is their quarterback.
He's been good this year, though.
Not as good as Drake May, mate. Sorry, mate. Drake May, mate.
He had, I mean, Drake. I mean, the only thing I would, and this is where I think this could be interesting, and then the Patriots, the only thing I would say about the Patriots is that yes, you have had a very easy schedule, and the only thing I would say is that, and it's the question that you're seeing a lot at the moment is, will the Patriots do what they've done all season against teams in the playoffs? Now, obviously, if it means playing the Bills, well, you've beaten the Bills. You can beat the Bills. You do it quite a lot, especially at Foxborough. So, Chargers. If you play the Chargers, you're just basically going to kill Justin Herbert. That's the only thing I can see happening.
Well, that's what we're hoping. That's what we're hoping. No offense, but that's what we're hoping.
Think Texans will be an interesting one because I think the Texans, again, their defense is really, really good. So
you need to score over 20 points to beat this Texans team.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Denver, then 16 or over might actually do it.
Yeah. I think the thing is that, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is, and it's the one thing that I said when we sort of won the Super Bowl is, and obviously it's it's the thing that everyone says is, offense wins you games, defenses win you championships. The Denver Broncos and the Texans have two of the best defenses this year.
Mm.
So I think for me, those two are the teams to beat. Now, if you can get the Texans at home, that's an advantage for you. The problem that I have is that I just don't see you going into into their home, into the Broncos' home.
The only thing I will clap back on you regarding if we can't go into Denver and win is the fact we're the only team this season that's gone undefeated on the road.
True.
So we
I just,
have that. We already have that grind. We already have that sort of feather in our cap already to say,
Mhm.
cool. But when we do go on the road, you do realize we're coming in with a lot more aggression. We're going in with a lot more
Yeah.
physicality. And I agree with what you go with the AFC. Broncos, Pats, Jags, Ravens, Texans, Bills, Chargers. That's kind of
I,
how we've got it on our side of
yeah.
things. So
I just think to be honest, I think there's a lot of unpredictability with the AFC. A lot of unpredictability. And, like I say, the Bills, if the Bills get through against the Jags, yes, you've beaten the Bills at home already, but they can do a number. They can do a number on you. They have done a number on you. Obviously, not so much at Foxborough, but they can do it.
mm,
And again, it's the same with the Texans. The Texans could be is anyone could beat anyone depending on who turns up on the day. I think with the AFC, and I'm not saying that you couldn't go away and beat the Broncos. I just think of all the teams to go away to, the Broncos is probably the one you would least like to do. Them or the Texans, I think, but you won't have to go away to the Texans, so that's not a worry.
mm.
Um, so that's how I see it playing. I have the Broncos and the Patriots um, in the in the
AFC
AFC
title.
Championship.
Do you know what, mate? We are playing with house money because we've won a division title already. Even I never expected it to happen. So we're playing with house money. If
Yeah,
we make it to the AFC Championship and let's just say we lose by a field goal or we lose by a score, I'm not going to be screaming and shouting. I'll be like, AFC Championship. We weren't supposed to get this far.
wait,
The only
you weren't even supposed
we're
to
not
win your
supposed
own
to get there to
division.
we're not supposed to get to the playoffs to begin with. Like
No.
7, 8 wins just to see
Mhm.
how well because we're building. But what Vrabel and McDaniels has done, especially what they've done with Drake May as well, they've and Elliot Wolf needs credit as well, the GM, because he
Mm.
actually signed all these free agencies. He signed Milton Williams. He got Rob Spillane in. He got some Ufcot journeyman in Christian Ellis and Corey Durden and a few others, and they've actually stepped up and really performed.
Mm.
And then the draft was one of the best drafts that we've had in a very very long time. Imagine what we could do next year with all the 12 picks we got. The only thing I'm going to be pissed off about is if we are in the AFC Championship, New England aren't picking in the first round until like 4 o'clock in the morning here. That's the
And,
only.
and
That's the
and at
only.
that point, you
That's
could
the
even
only
trade back.
nuisance. No, don't go there because Nick's already got that in his head already.
Yeah.
If we got pick 30, he said, "Right, we're trading back to 34." So I was like, "Oh,
Mm. Yeah,
anyway."
it's. I mean, one of the things that I've had a lot of. Obviously, the big debate at the moment is who's going to win the MVP. I think it's probably the only one that I think is pretty much up in a bit more up in the air than the others. I think Drake May is the favorite at the moment.
I want to throw you a question out there because obviously Stafford has performed really, really well, and a lot of people have been saying that one game should not justify Matthew Stafford losing the MVP race to Drake May. But you threw 2 pick 6s. That
Three, three this year.
Oh, he threw three. Yeah, well, he threw. Yeah, but he threw two in one
Yeah.
game. 3 interceptions. Two of them were pick sixes in one game. That surely has to hold some water to the MVP race. I know it's only one game, but
Yeah,
surely
I
that's got
think
to hold some sort of water to it because you did lose the game overall.
I think losing that game, I think it'll ultimately lose in the MVP because at the end of the day, we're probably likely going to finish at best second in our division, and we aren't going to be the number one seed at all. Well, we've lost that. Um, I think had he not thrown 3 interceptions and 2 pick 6s, he would have still been the outright favourite. I think what this has done has made people think Drake May has a chance. It's now almost like neck and neck. It's who do you choose? And I think it's become more of a conversation because of that game. Had we gone on and done what we normally do and beaten, done what we've done all year, the way we played, and just beaten the Falcons with no issues, it wouldn't even be a conversation, in my opinion. I think Stafford would have been in the outright, and he would have been given it because he's done what he's done, and because of what happened in that game. He went from having 5 interceptions to 8. He's now level with Drake May. The yardage is pretty much the same. I think the one obviously thing is obviously Drake May's a lot younger. He has the yards in terms of on the rushing side. I think it becomes a lot more of a conversation. I think your record is 6-0 against common teams, whereas ours is 4-2.
Yep.
I still think Matthew Stafford is the MVP this year, and I will. There is going to be an element of bias in that. I just think with the schedule that we've had and the teams we've had to play, to be putting up those yards and those numbers, that can't go unnoticed. And I'm not trying to. This is the difficulty I've had with a lot of people, like with some of the people I've been talking to online about this conversation, because obviously they've been very much Drake May's the outright. I've been trying to explain what Stafford should be, and obviously the biggest argument is the Patriots have had the much easier schedule. I think the Rams their schedule was the hardest.
That's what happens when you go 4-13. You're gonna end up with a freaking. You're gonna end up with the bottom feeder schedule.
Yeah, but this is it, but the thing is, it's like I think yours at one point your schedule was down at 0.356, which when I looked it up was the second worst in NFL. Sorry, the second easiest in NFL history, only to was it the Commanders? No, it wouldn't have been the Commanders. It may have been the Commanders it was some team in 1976. So it's a long time ago. But at the end of the day, you can only. And this is why a part of me is kind of like I don't know, because you can only play what you're given.
Yeah, you can only play what your schedule gives you.
Yeah, but at the same time, had Stafford had that schedule, had the Rams had that schedule,
oh, you'd be 17-0.
We'd be 17-0.
You'll be 17-0,
and he'd have thrown like 6,000
but you get the
yards.
same argument. I hope they got the same argument. Oh yeah, 17-0. Yeah, they haven't played anybody. They won't say that. They'll say Stafford has been incredible. Nakua has been incredible. Devontae Adams has been incredible. It'll be like, oh, we're replicating the '99 St. Louis Rams all over again. But yet when it's us, it's like, yeah, but their schedule's easy. Pick a lane. Pick a lane. That's all I say.
Yeah, I think, but it's and then obviously the other side of it is, would the Patriots have done? Well, would Drake May have performed as well as he did if he had been on the Rams schedule? And it's like, but there's so many ifs, buts, and maybes with all of this, because stick Drake May in the Rams team, he probably would do pretty well because he'd have
Puka do amazing.
Adams.
He probably would have Stafford's stats minus the interceptions, probably.
Yeah, and then it'd be the same for the other side. Is that if you stuck Stafford in that Patriots team with that schedule, he'd probably still put up very similar yards, if not more. Yes, he wouldn't have the great wide receivers, but he'd have a very good running team for that sort of level, and he'd also still have someone like a Stephon Diggs who is experienced as well as the young guys. So I just think I don't like all of these like mini arguments about well if they got this and they got that. Just look at the stats and the information. They both are very similar. They've both played extremely well this year. It's just a coin toss for me at this stage, and I'm always going to choose Stafford. Pats fans are always going to choose Drake May.
Yeah, well, then that's it. It's tribalism at the end of the day. But listen, would I be disappointed if Drake doesn't get MVP? Not really. This is his second full season. He's already been cast as he's already gone into the Pro Bowl. So he's already a Pro Bowler. He's now been picked as a first team All Pro, which is a better freaking one to be than in the Pro Bowl. I'll be honest with you. And if he does end up winning the MVP, then he's got the trifecta. But the thing is with Drake is that he's very grounded. He's not letting this get to his head. He's not getting the fame get to him. He's not letting what he's done so far like override him or anything. He's saying the right things at the right time. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have bloody Kelly Stafford doing all of Matt's negative talking. I mean, personally, I think the like I say, there's stats for both sides. I would
Mm.
be disappointed if Matthew Stafford doesn't get it because I genuinely think that this could be his last year, and it would be sad to see him not win an MVP in his career.
Mm.
But at the
That's
end of the
still,
day,
but if he does end up going to the Super Bowl and winning it, he'll be a two-time Super Bowl champion. He'll probably retire after that, and he'll
mm,
probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
yeah, I think he already is a first ballot Hall of Famer
Well, he's a
personally.
Hall
But
of
again,
Famer. I wouldn't say first ballot, but if he does it a sec, if he win, I usually think if you, unless you have had season on season on season where the numbers have been flipping
yeah,
ridiculous, or you've won multiple Super Bowls, then I believe you to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think Stafford
yeah,
needs to win another one to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in my eyes, but that's just my
yeah.
personal.
I mean, obviously the history doesn't benefit Stafford because no no NFL or no MVP candidate has ever won the MVP and not won their conference.
Mm,
So nothing goes
okay.
is in his favor. But at the end of the day, we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, you moved on to the rounds of the Rams and the and Stafford for the MVP. So now I can do the NFC playoff predictions out. So I've got my list down here already. So this Saturday night game, although the Seahawks are -1.5 point favorites, there's one glaring problem that I have.
Sam Darnold.
Thank you very much. Sam Darnold, this is the second time now he has been in this situation. Cast your mind back to last year against Minnesota. They had to beat Detroit to get the number one seed.
Mhm.
They lost. They dropped to the wild card, and what happened? They got bounced.
By us.
By you, obviously, yeah. This needs to be the redemption arc for Sam Darnold. If he doesn't get over this one, I don't think he gets over it at all.
No.
He will just be a fantastic regular season quarterback, but when it comes to the nitty gritty, he just can't do it. And I think it might happen again. I don't want to really do this because if the 49ers do win, not only they get home field advantage, but they're only freaking 2 games away from actually hosting the bloody Super Bowl, for Christ's sake.
Mm.
Because it's at Levi Stadium. I've got the Niners winning, so they're going to get home field advantage. I think nothing changes between 2 and 3. Bears will stay as the second seed. Eagles will stay as the third seed. I have got Carolina winning this. However, the Bucks are going to beat the Panthers, but the Falcons are going to beat the Saints. And due to the tiebreaker, the Panthers have got the better record over the Falcons. So Carolina takes it.
The Panthers do it, but still have a losing record. That's
Yes,
hilarious.
they're gonna have yeah. Yeah, the Luigi wins by doing nothing meme. That's basically what the
Mhm.
NFC South is. So your wild cards will end up being Seattle as the fifth seed, Rams as the sixth seed, Packers as the seventh. The Packers are locked into the seventh seed anyway, so they're going to be in it
Yeah.
regardless. So your wild card matchup will as follows: Packers at Bears, NFC North battle. LA Rams, they do travel to the link, play Philadelphia. Sorry, Sam. And then Seattle. 2 weeks ago, sorry, last week, sorry, they already played Carolina and beat Carolina in the Bank of, in no one uses the Bank of America Stadium. So, let's start from the top. I think this Bears team is flawed. I think this Bears team is flawed. This defense worries me. As long as Jordan Love doesn't go down with another concussion again, they had that win in the palm of their hands. They let it slip. I don't think Green Bay are going to allow it a second time. So I've got Green Bay causing the upset and winning. Rams at Eagles.
Do we get the monkey off our back? That's the big thing.
More to the point, can the Eagles score any fucking points on offense? They could defense, really. This could be a disgusting, like 17-14 type of game. It really could. But I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, Sam, but I'm gonna say the Eagles pinch it. I think the Eagles pinch it. It might change. We might have a serious injury to a defensive player on the Eagles side of things. I don't know. I just think the Eagles, they'll just turn up this game. Nick Sirianni really needs to be fired. He is such a useless head coach. Um, Seahawks at Panthers. Lightning strikes twice. I've got Seattle winning this game. So that basically means your divisional round will be the Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks
That would
going to the link to face Philadelphia. 49ers are going to host the AFC Championship. They will beat the Packers. It'll be a step too far for Green Bay. I've always stated there should be a third rubber match in the NFC West. Give me Seattle to beat Philadelphia,
wow.
which means your NFC Championship will be a dead rubber, a third match. Seattle at 49ers. And the Seahawks are going to be so pissed off they will beat the 49ers and make sure that they don't host the Super Bowl. So that means your Super Bowl could potentially be your Super Bowl could potentially be either, for what we've discussed, either repeat a Super Bowl 48 between Seattle and Denver, or repeat a Super Bowl 49 between Seattle and New England. That is what I have got. Why am I putting Sam Darnold ahead? I think at some point he has to learn from his mistakes.
Well, he hasn't done it against us.
Yeah, but he
We
won't have to
played
face you
three
according to
times.
this running. But anyway,
That's his only saving grace. He doesn't have to play the Rams again.
that's the only saving grace. Exactly that. Although he did beat you in the return leg, but I digress. All right. I think that's what we got coming up. What do we have for? Well, there's no fantasy league purposes because obviously everyone's championships are all over done with. Hope you all enjoyed your championships and so on. Unfortunately, I've had to lose my coveted trophy now. It's back in the commissioner's hands. I will fucking retain it. I will get it back. Um, but I do like to have a little bit of a flutter every now and then. Sam, do you like to have a little flutter every now and then?
I do. I do.
And we all like fantasy football, correct?
Yeah.
How
I
about
lost my championship game as well to the Seahawks fan that is my mate. So not happy about that either.
so how would it be great if we could combine the two of betting on games as well as fantasy league, fantasy football purposes?
Well, funnily enough, I think there's an actual app for it.
Do we?
I
So tell
think
us a
there's
bit more.
so obviously this is DraftKings was where we all go, and then obviously in America they still use it. But they stopped for us UK people because apparently we're not good enough. We're not allowed to bet over there. And Fantasy Game Day is obviously been around for a couple of years now. Is I think the only place where you can actually do fantasy and betting at the same time in the UK. I could be wrong with that, but it is made by NFL fans or by NFL UK fans for NFL UK fans. And it is the one-stop shop for where you can go and do all your betting and gambling. Just make sure that you obviously are safe with your gambling, know when to stop, and if you're a child, do not bet. just to make sure anyone under the age of 18, you are not allowed to gamble. We do not want a repeat of Fletcher's issues from before. But if you are interested and you've not actually used the app before, then go on down and download that app and use the code HURDLE. That's HRDLE. So hurdle without the U.
Because there's no hurdle of a line without you.
There we go. It's like we all know it. And you will get a free £7.50 bet to use on any of the games that they have on. Obviously, with it being week 18, there is a very limited amount at the moment. You can still go on. You can split it between a few different ones. There are a few different ones on there, and enjoy a nice little free bet and a little tipple on it. And there are people on there. I've done a few. Fletcher's on there. There's plenty of people. I think I've seen so many names of people that I actually do normal fantasy football with in the UK on there. So you'll be playing against them as well. And yeah, just a great way to have a little bit of extra fun, but also to have a few bets on. I'm assuming with it being week 18, do we have a double bomber or a bet of some sort?
I don't, but I will go with the upset alert section on this one. But
I personally try to avoid week 18 bets because a lot of the time the games are so random.
they're shit. They really are. But if you do want to have a little bit of a flutter on, I usually go with my spread bets as I usually go for. Let's first start off with. I'm going to start off with the first game on the Saturday slate, which is Panthers at the Buccaneers. The Panthers are plus 2.5 underdogs going into this game. I do not trust Tampa Bay in this at all. They are so ropey. They have lost 7 of their last 8 games. They're not in good form right now. Give me the Panthers plus 2.5 on the spread on this one as an upset alert on that one. The other upset alert I will give you. The New Orleans Saints. They've won their last 4 straight games. Tyler Shuck is playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. They're playing really, really well. Now, obviously, Chris Olave with blood clots, he will not be playing this game, so it will hurt them a little bit. But the Saints are plus 3.5. And remember, these NFC South battles are always shit, but they're shit for a good reason because the score is very low and it's very, very, very tightly contested. Give me the Saints plus 3.5 to cover the spread
Yeah,
here on Atlanta on that one.
I would go with that because the Saints love a win against the Falcons as well. Absolutely love a win against them. So I could easily see that happening.
Is there a chance that the Raiders could blow up their tank?
Surely not this badly.
They're plus
They have,
five and a
they have
half.
no they have no bugger to throw to. Brock Purdy's on IR now. Max Crosby's on IR. I don't think they don't think they literally don't have anyone.
No,
They can't. They surely
plus five
can't.
and a half. Oh, I can't.
Geno Smith's not going to play. That's actually probably a benefit.
Yeah.
I can't see them. I mean, could I see it being more than
I'll
a,
tell you
a
what, I will
six
do this
point
though.
game?
Yeah, I'm going to scrap that one. Then I've got another one for you. Tennessee at Jacksonville. Tennessee are plus 13.5.
Oh, it'd be much closer than that.
That is huge. So I'm taking the plus 13.5 on the Titans on that one. And then obviously Baltimore at Pittsburgh. Baltimore are road favorite by minus 3.5. This is going to be won by a field goal.
Yeah, I'd
Give
probably
me
take
the
the team.
Steelers plus 3.5.
Yeah,
They're covering. I think the Steelers cover. This will be a close game. It'll be an ugly, ugly game because every AFC North game between Steelers and Ravens already is. But that will be what I would go for. So that's my quartet upset alert on the spread for that one.
I'm surprised they only have the Eagles as only -4.
Hmm.
Seems pretty low. Unless the Eagles are just not going to play anyone, just have a whole set of stringers out. It's Commanders. But either way, yeah. So I think we'll wrap it up there. It is. I think we've actually managed to get under the 1.5 hour mark, which I think is rare for us. Um, so yeah, obviously week 18 is going to be probably going to make or break a few teams' seasons in terms of when it comes to the playoffs. But yeah, hopefully we'll be able to. Well, hopefully both of our teams will be in the positions we want them to be in come next week, and we'll be able to obviously have a chat about championship, well, potential wildcard games, maybe not wildcard games for the Patriots, depending on how things go. But been great chatting. Obviously, head to all the links and the descriptions in the bio, and follow everyone. Obviously, me, Carl, Fletch. He is here, but not here. But obviously, follow him. And we'll see you. If obviously you'll join us for the Hurdle the Line review show on Monday, which comes out on Tuesday, and I don't know, hurdle that playoff.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Hurdle that playoff.